Biden has said he would return to the nuclear agreement, but also said he would extend its duration and would like to deal with some other issues. Are you ready to engage in those negotiations? And what if other issues include the Iran missile program and/or Iran's role in the region?
Well, let's take these issues separately. First, on the United States rejoining the nuclear agreement. The United States walked out of the nuclear agreement, but did not walk out of the United Nations. It has responsibilities, obligations as a UN member, as a Security Council member, and there is a Security Council Resolution 2231, which the United States must observe as a permanent member of the Security Council. The United States has been in grave breach of that resolution because Trump administration has been a rogue regime. Now, if President-elect Biden wants to continue to be a rogue regime, then he can continue to be asking for negotiations to implement its commitments. So the United States has commitments under the resolution which has to implement. It's not in a position to set conditions for that. You do not set conditions to stop at the red light. If the previous car passed the red light, that's a violator. That's not a law-abiding citizen. You're not supposed to follow that. The United States must stop. The United States must cease its violations of international law. It doesn't require any negotiations. Going to the other issues that you raised, we will not renegotiate a deal which we negotiated. The deal was about give and take. It wasn't about one side asking and the other side giving. The fact is that the United States and other European partners started with 20 plus 10. They wanted 20 plus 10 years of restrictions. Iran started with none. We agreed somewhere in the middle, 10 plus few more. This was the subject of 2 years of negotiations. It will never be renegotiated, period, because that's a sign, a clear case of bad faith. If you want to negotiate something and if you didn't get anything you wanted, you would want to renegotiate. The third issue, the issue of missiles and the issue of regional security were deliberately put aside by all sides, not because they gave a concession to Iran, but because the other sides were not prepared to end their malign behavior in these areas. Look at the issue of weapons. Last year, the West sold to the Persian Gulf more weapons than it sold to any other part of the world. Over $100 billion worth of weapons were sold to this region. Is the West ready to stop this malign behavior? The West supported the war in Yemen. The West supported the annexations, not officially, but in fact, the annexations of Palestinian lands. The West supported Israeli terrorism. Why Israel is committing acts of terror against Iran, including the terror of our nuclear scientists last week, inside Iran, without condemnation, without consequences from the West. So is the West ready to stop its malign behavior in our region? Because they were not ready to deal with that, we decided to put those issues aside. When they are ready to deal with those problems of their own malign behavior in the region, when the United States, when UK, when France, when Germany are ready to put an end to their malign support for a terrorist regime, for violations of human rights in Yemen, for cracking down on people, for dismemberment of a journalist in Turkey by their very close ally, Saudi Arabia, then they can start talking about other things. As long as they're not able to put up, they have to shut up.